Imagine being stationed in a place where you can't move, can't escape, and can't even meet the one person who understands your loneliness. That's The Nightmare and the strange love story inside Apple TV's The Gorge 2025. In this video, I'll take you through the entire story, scene by scene, with explanations, hidden details, and the shocking ending, so grab your popcorn. Because this is not just a science fiction action horror thriller, it's a journey into human connection, fear, and survival. Deep in a dense forest, Draasa suddenly awakens. The distant roar of an approaching plane immediately sets her on high alert. Instinctively, she grabs her weapon and takes position, her focus razor-sharp. As the aircraft lands and a lone figure steps off, Draasa lines up her shot stand in one flawless motion. The man is down. Meanwhile, miles away, former Marine Levi wakes from a haunting nightmare. Seeking peace, he walks along the beach, letting the rhythm of the waves soothe his restless mind. But calm is fleeting. His phone buzzes urgently, calling him back to the Marine Corps base. Upon returning, Levi meets the enigmatic agent Bartholomew. She knows his reputation, a skilled sniper, isolated and solitary, with no family or close ties. To her, he's the perfect fit for a job unlike any other. At the same time, in Pavala, Lithuania, Draasa visits her father, Erikas, at the cemetery on the anniversary of her mother's death. Erikas appears frail, weighed down by his terminal cancer. With sorrow in his voice, he confides that if his illness doesn't take him soon, he plans to end his suffering himself, hoping to reunite with his beloved wife on Valentine's Day. In early September, Levi slowly awakens, groggy from anesthesia. Confused by the roar of a military plane, he asks a nearby soldier where he is. She says nothing, bound by strict security protocol, and collects his personal items. He's informed that they are approaching a no-fly zone, and he must continue on foot. Determined, Levi gears up. The wind whips past as he jumps from the plane, timing his parachute perfectly. Landing with precision, he sets out on a grueling journey, climbing cliffs, hiking rugged terrain, and camping alone under the stars. Eventually, Levi reaches the edge of a vast gorge, where he encounters JD, a soldier stationed in the area. Despite a year of service, JD is uncertain about their exact location. Together, they head to the West Tower, a self-sufficient stronghold with solar panels, a backup generator, rainwater collection, a thriving garden, and ample wildlife for hunting. Across the gorge lies the East Tower, but contact with its guard is strictly forbidden. To the north and south, the gorge is fortified with landmines and other defenses, making any crossing nearly impossible. JD guides Levi through the tower, explaining the mission. Levi's daily duties include patrolling the western perimeter, refilling automated gun turrets every 600 meters, checking the containment fences, ensuring mines are intact, and monitoring cloakers devices that send false signals to hide the gorge from satellite surveillance. Radio communication occurs only every 30 days, and contact with the outside world is otherwise impossible. JD warns Levi of the stray dog protocol. Activated by a panic button in emergencies, JD doesn't know the details but advises Levi to flee if it's ever triggered. JD shares the gorge's dark history, dating back to the Cold War. Multiple nations secretly agreed to keep this location hidden from top government officials. Levi's job is clear. Whatever exists within the gorge must never escape. At first, this seems impossible. JD thought so too until he witnessed the Hollow Men, terrifying creatures whose screams echo through the gorge. JD recounts a story from the 1940s. 3 groups of horseback soldiers attempted to exterminate them, and none returned. From then on, containment became the priority. The next day, JD heads to his extraction point. A helicopter lowers a rope, and JD climbs up, giving his identification. But in a shocking betrayal, a gunshot pierces the air. JD's lifeless body falls into the mountains below. A month later, Levi has settled into the daily grind, patrolling the perimeter, maintaining defenses, and performing routine radio check-ins. One afternoon, while tending the garden, he notices movement in the East Tower. Grabbing his binoculars, he sees Draasa chopping wood. Their eyes meet briefly before she looks away, hiding any recognition of him. By November, Draasa feels the sting of loneliness on her birthday. Seeking some fun, she fires a shot into the air to catch Levi's attention. Holding up a sign, she boldly asks for his name. Levi hesitates, wary of the rules forbidding contact, but Draasa's playful confidence wins him over. Smiling, she writes her name and declares she'd do as she pleases on her birthday. Amused, Levi responds in kind, raising a glass and toasting her gesture. The playful energy continues as Draasa turns on music and begins to dance. She signals for Levi to join, but he shyly admits he's no dancer, though an expert marksman. Not wanting to be outdone, Draasa fires at his water bottle. In response, Levi quickly shoots hers, turning the moment into a fun back-and-forth challenge. Suddenly, Draasa notices movement below the gorge wall. Her playful expression vanishes as she points it out to Levi. Looking down, he sees grotesque creatures climbing toward them. Reacting swiftly, Levi fires, sending one creature plummeting onto a mine below. The explosion triggers a chain reaction, obliterating most of the climbers. Yet more keep coming. Levi maintains a steady stream of gunfire while Draasa operates her machine gun. Within minutes, they manage to neutralize the entire swarm. Just as relief begins to settle, a particularly monstrous creature scales Draasa's balcony. She fires multiple times, finally kicking it over the edge, but the onslaught continues. Now attacking both sides of the gorge, Levi and Draasa coordinate flawlessly, establishing a deadly barrier that wipes out the majority of attackers. During the chaos, a mine detonates, sending metal fragments flying. One shard strikes Draasa's shoulder, though in pain, she refuses to falter. Together, they continue to fight, suppressing the relentless horde as morning breaks. Draasa tends to her injuries, smiling despite the previous night's terror. She tells Levi that this has been her best birthday ever. Meanwhile, Levi inspects the gorge below, carefully replacing any mines and repairing the damage caused during the battle. Unexpectedly, a drone ascends rapidly from the gorge, disappearing into the sky, a sign that the fight is far from over. By December, the duo begins a lighter, more playful routine. Levi strings up lights around a tree, fashioning a makeshift Christmas tree with a sign for Draasa. Their bond deepens as they engage in small joys, building snowmen, playing chess, and drumming on pots. In February, Levi notices Draasa in front of a family photo, tears streaking her face. Concerned, he asks why she missed her patrol. She explains it's been an emotional day. Wanting to comfort her, Levi constructs a rope-throwing device in the armory. The next morning, he fires a rocket across the gorge, which lands precisely in a tree. A small fire ignites, but Draasa quickly extinguishes it, tying the rope securely to the tree. Levi signals for a dinner invitation. Determined, he slides down the rope to cross the gorge, momentarily getting stuck. With steady hands and careful grip, he continues to Draasa's tower, but manages to reach her safely. He presents her with a bouquet, and during dinner, they share their personal struggles and the mental strain of being mercenaries. The evening concludes with a tender dance, their connection deepening. Morning arrives, but danger is far from over. Levi begins his return to the tower by sliding down the rope, only to be ambushed by hollow men. One sets off a mine, snapping the rope and sending Levi plummeting into the gorge. Instinctively, he deploys his parachute, slowing his fall. Meanwhile, Draasa, witnessing the chaos from above, grabs weapons and a parachute, leaping into the gorge. The strong current of the river sweeps her downstream, slamming her against rocks and causing her to lose her climbing equipment. Desperately, she clings to tree roots and pulls herself to safety. Levi finds himself hanging unconscious from ropes in a tree, while a branch begins to move, revealing a monstrous creature approaching. As it closes in, Levi awakens, firing while trying to free himself. His struggle causes him to fall directly into the jaws of another creature. Just when all seems lost, Draasa arrives, shooting the monster and saving Levi at the last possible moment. Together, they continue their perilous journey, searching for the rope to continue across the gorge. Suddenly, two hollow men appear, riding horse-like creatures and attacking them with swords. One leaps off its mount to strike Draasa. She counters swiftly, stabbing it in the neck and finishing it off with a gunshot. Levi fends off the other, skillfully using his handgun to neutralize both the rider and its mount. Afterwards, Draasa realizes their auto-ascender is lost in the river. They're stuck without it. She suggests following the river, hoping it will lead them out. Along the way, Levi examines a fallen creature and notices pieces of an old military uniform. Shockingly, the Hollow Men are actually the missing horseback soldiers from the old story. As they traverse the forest, they encounter the remains of those who tried to escape before them. Eventually, they find an abandoned town, buildings overtaken by mutated plants and cracked by earthquakes. The air is filled with the ominous sounds of approaching monsters, forcing them to hide inside a dilapidated church. Inside, skeletons sit in the pews, and a strong smell of cyanide suggests the victims took their own lives. While reflecting on the grim scene, a huge spider leaps from above toward Draasa. She pushes it away but falls, only to face another. She stabs it just in time. 2 more spiders jump at Levi, and he shoots them accurately. Soon, both are surrounded by a swarm, forcing them into a desperate fight. The escape route is blocked by Hollow Men bursting in, creating a dual-threat scenario. Draasa seizes a nearby creature, smashing its head against a table before tossing it aside. Levi fights multiple creatures up close, managing to take them down through sheer skill. Draasa throws a grenade at the back wall, creating a large hole for their escape. They run through the forest, staying close to walls for cover, eventually discovering an old door leading into a building overrun with plants. Deeper inside, they find a military lab long abandoned, with skeletons scattered across the floor. Draasa manages to get the generator working. Among the debris, Levi finds a tape and plays it on an old projector. On screen, a scientist explains that in 1946, this secret community was established by several nations working together. At the end of World War II, these scientists had been developing biochemical weapons. 6 days before the recording, a catastrophic earthquake caused a chemical leak. Despite frantic containment efforts, the toxin mingled with local flora and fauna, creating horrific mutations. The scientist's own body shows the effects the woman displays strange growths on her stomach. Watching further, Levi and Draasa learn the facility remained active long after the initial disaster. A computer from the late 2000s reveals that a private paramilitary company, Dark Lake, continues experiments to create super soldiers. The drone they encountered earlier was gathering samples for these experiments. Levi discovers information on the stray dog Protocola nuclear plan to obliterate the entire area as they prepare to leave the facility. Levi reassures Draasa that despite everything, the mission was worth it because he met her. They open a door and throw a smoke grenade to cover their escape, but a Hollow Man grabs Draasa's ankle, pulling her back. Determined, Levi follows the trail, eventually finding a hidden facility with the nuclear bomb. Inside, Draasa is tied up and tortured. She summons her strength, kicks the creature in the chest, and frees herself. Despite the Hollow Man's superior strength and a snake emerging from its chest, Draasa fights fiercely, severing the snake's head and hurling metal at the creature. Enraged, it pursues her, swinging a sword. Draasa uses bones as a shield and lights a torch to set the creature on fire. Levi arrives, shooting the Hollow Man to end the threat. They embrace, relieved to be alive. Levi inspects the fallen Hollow Man, recognizing the uniform as belonging to the first guard of his tower. He takes the sword as a grim reminder, and they continue toward the site of the original chemical leak, encountering grotesque mutated creatures trapped in thick, toxin-laden goo. Levi and Draasa carefully cross the bridge over the toxin-filled area. As Draasa steps, some trapped bodies fall, reaching out to grab her. Levi reacts instantly, cutting the roots to free her, but their actions awaken larger, more terrifying creatures. The monsters rise with deafening roars, forcing Levi to fight his way through the horde. During the struggle, a sticky whip snags Levi's ankle, knocking him to the ground. Draasa quickly throws a grenade behind them, triggering a massive explosion that engulfs the creatures in flames. They sprint toward a staircase, finally reaching safety. Searching the town, they discover military jeeps hidden in a garage. Quickly repairing one engine, they drive off, fighting off Hollow Men along the way. When they reach the broken rope, Levi attaches it to the jeep while Draasa covers him with gunfire, eliminating approaching threats. Together, they begin climbing the gorge wall. The climb starts well, but Hollow Men pursue relentlessly. Levi kicks one off the wall and uses a sword to fend off others. Draasa grabs an axe from a toolbox, fighting alongside him. One hollow man leaps at Levi, nearly sending him over the edge, but he barely holds on. Thinking quickly, he stabs the Jeep's gas tank, climbs back up, and throws a flare. The resulting explosion destroys the remaining hollow man, but also blows up the Jeep, throwing Levi against the wall and breaking his leg. Draasa rushes to his side, helping him. As they reach the top, they cut the rope, causing the burning Jeep to fall on the remaining hollow men, obliterating them. Back at Draasa's tower, they treat their injuries and decide to remain quarantined for 5 days, preventing potential infection. During this time, they formulate a daring plan to destroy the Gorge and escape together. The next day, Levi uses a grappling gun to return to his tower. During a radio check-in, Bartholomew intercepts the call, discovering that the lab computer had been turned on. Levi denies going into the Gorge, but Bartholomew concludes that someone in the other tower must have done it. She contacts a commander to prepare a team to investigate. Unaware, Levi and Draasa write messages of love to each other, sharing a private moment of affection. Suddenly, a helicopter approaches. They sprint into the forest as Bartholomew's soldiers arrive at the towers, only to find them empty. Drones are deployed, shooting at them. But Levi and Draasa skillfully take them down one by one. They use their sniper skills to disable the cloakers, and the mines they had planted earlier set off a massive explosion, revealing the Gorge fully. This triggers the stray dog protocol. Bartholomew and her team rush to the helicopter to escape, but the nuclear bomb detonates. The massive explosion destroys the helicopter and kills everyone on board. Levi is caught in the blast, falling off a cliff into a river. Draasa hides in a cave, anxiously waiting. A month passes. With no word from Levi, Draasa moves on, taking up work as a waitress in France. One day, she is shocked to see Levi sitting at a table. He explains it took time to recover from his injuries. Their reunion is sealed with a kiss, bringing closure to their harrowing journey and completing their love story.